welcome to the Flannel Tribe Podcast, where we take a deep dive into the music that defined a generation. From the fading echoes of glam metal to the rise of raw and gritty grunge.
Whether you rocked out in high school back then, or you're just curious about this legendary era, join us as we explore the music that made us, and maybe still does.
So what were we talking about? What's the last episode? Oh, album covers. Hey, listen, there's some honorable mentions there with that didn't really make the list because of the year they came out in, but Metallica's Load, that album cover fucking sucks. Mm-hmm. I just want to throw that out there. But it came out in 96, I think, so.
We'll have to probably change it up and do episodes that reach beyond the 85-95 corridor.
Yeah, I think after we cover all the bases of 85 to 95, we got to do another Clam It or Slam It. We've only done one, and that was I think one of my favorite episodes to record.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out years. Maybe we just make it whatever year. 1905, Clam It or Slam It.
I'm down for it. You know, I don't know. I like a little bit of everything. I just, just what era don't you really like? Because I love the fucking 40s. I love the 50s. 60s, I gotta say I'm kind of like hit or miss on that. Because you know why? I don't really like hippies. And when you get into the hippie shit, I just kind of tune out. I don't like the music. I don't like the style. I don't like their fucking dirt.
Right. Well, I mean, in the 60s, there are other things that are good in the 60s. Not just, not just the flower power. I mean, the Doors.
The Doors they're the best thing to come out of that era.
Creedence.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is some stuff in there, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're actually going away from music today.
Yeah, it's happened. It's finally fucking happened, and it was like pulling fucking teeth to get this shit to happen. We're expanding the parameters of the Flannel Tribe with this one, getting into uncharted territory. The impossible has happened. It was inevitable.
Here we are.
Yep. Yeah, it was like pulling teeth to get it to happen, but it happened. This asshole, the one that's on the other side of the screen, has finally watched ROBOCop.
Yeah. What's that?
The theme song.
I don't even know it. There's no soundtrack to this movie.
Rewatch it.
There's nothing to it.
All right, so before we get, this isn't Siskel and Ebert. This isn't thumbs up, thumbs down, handies. It's nothing like that. But I think it's good because
I'm going to tell you this.
All right.
While I wasted a big piece of my Monday.
You wasted an hour and 40 minutes.
Watching this movie, I could have gone for a handy.
You probably could have taken care of both at the same time.
Actually, I did.
Right.
I guess.
Jesus. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Dice rules.
Right. Just jerking off the RoboCop.
Especially that part where the blood was.
The movie's got plenty of blood. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This isn't. I think it's cool because I saw it as a kid. This one here didn't see it at all until a day ago. So
yeah, a little over 24 hours ago. So it's
for the first time ever. So you can think that he's got it through an elderly person's eyes, and then I've got it through, because I saw it probably, 11, 12, and then many, many times since then.
God.
Many times. It's a very quotable movie.
Your move, creep.
Dare I say beloved movie. I think it's,
I don't know who beloves it.
A lot of people love the movie RoboCop. It's quoted. It's fantastic. It's fucking brutal at times. Funny. You laugh. You cry. You know what I mean? It's just fantastic. I guess this is going to be our interpretation of the movie. Not interpretation, but our thoughts on it from the perspective of different points in life, I think. You know what I mean? This is deep shit.
I better rewatch it.
Right. Listen, there's a fucking story in there that's pretty, with the sun. Remember when he's fucking spinning the gun on his finger?
Mm-hmm.
And the son is like, "Can you do that, Dad?"
you know, and it's like echoing in his head because he's holding on to the last scrap of humanity that he has. They think he's fucking just a complete robot, mindless fucking machine man thing, and he's like, no, I'm still real in here. And who knew? His partner.
Yeah.
I know you're in there.
She was in Carrie,
Yeah.
and she had that horrible haircut in this movie.
Well, yeah.
She also, is it reprised or reprised? I think it's both, right?
I've been saying reprise for a long time, so if that's wrong, I probably won't change. She reprised her role. Is that what you're going to say? I think it's reprise.
Yeah. All right. Well, she did that in RoboCop 2 and 3.
I'll go on the record of saying I have never seen a RoboCop sequel.
I watched all of them.
No, you didn't, did you? I
No.
do. Listen, here's a bit of. I do own RoboCop 2 on Laserdisc. I really do, but I've never seen it because I just don't have a CD player that big. So
Next time you come over, remember those days we'd play Frisbee?
no, I'm not going to toss it around.
Like your mom.
Like your mom.
Obviously, I was going to say dick, but I didn't.
You could have. I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, my God. That, too. It's the only thing TV played in the movie was that. Everybody watched TV, and it was just a rerun of that commercial. I don't know.
Why,
That's
though?
the only scene that looped.
You don't understand why?
No.
It's a dystopia. It's a megacorp ran dystopia in Detroit.
That's the other part of the problem. I don't look deep into movies. I watch them. I like when people hear you or they listen to you. It's two different things.
What you put it on? What I think happens here before we even get into it. I think you put the movie on expecting to not like it. That's what I think. So I think you went into it with that, you know, and I think anything that might have been remotely cool or whatever, you missed it because you were expecting to not like it. Or you're just sitting there with your dick in your hand, waiting for the tits, because there's always tits in 80s movies.
And there
This movie had no tits.
No, there was. No, there was.
There was tits?
Yeah. It was a unisex locker room in the police department.
You're right.
Yeah. So there was...
That's somewhat towards the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, yeah. So there were some typical 80s tits.
I don't actually remember.
I know. You didn't watch the movie. I know. I did. I watched it for you.
What's funny is actually I didn't watch the movie.
And guy's ass. There's some guy's ass.
That's
it was
the
only
part.
the locker room scene.
That's the part where Thom
That
paused
really-
it. He actually didn't get past that scene. He was like, oh my God. He paused his VHS. He was like trying to see through the squiggles. Is that a guy's ass?
And the wife comes in.
Right. It's like, Thom,
What
are you looking at?
What are you watching?
Are you looking at guys' asses?
Why are your pants off? On our couch. And I said, I'm watching RoboCop.
Right. With your pants off? Well,
What's
yeah.
in the bowl, bitch?
How do we circle around back to dice? Oh. Oh my God, I forgot to get that shit. I'm getting it. Tomorrow I'm getting it. And I'm going to try to get like sound bites from this movie. We're going to put them right in here. Like that says,
I'd buy that for a creep.
I'd buy that for $1. That's going to go right here.
I'd buy that for $1.
So I don't know. What do? We're going to start with some stats, some RoboCop stats. Like when did it come out? What's the budget? How did it do?
See, and I know nothing about that, really. I mean,
Well,
yeah, this was an 87 release.
Oh yeah, because this whole thing stemmed from our 1987 Clam It or Slam It episode. But what is the actual name? What did we call it?
Jam it or can it.
And then somehow it ended up being Clam It or Slam It.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to go in there and edit the title and throughout all the streaming platforms. I don't know. We'll see.
No. I think you should leave it. So that's where we're at. And Tom's not really a movie guy. Never pegged him as a movie guy. But why? You know Back to the Future pretty well, but later
Yes.
on. So what's up with your where'd you go wrong in your upbringing, bro?
As I was trying to watch movies getting out of Back to the Future, which that was 85.
Five,
and
yeah.
Going into 86, 87, my father beat me with a VHS tape.
I mean,
It's like not,
from my perspective, you deserved it. Even now, you know.
he hit me. He was like, "What are you gonna do with your life?"
And then you were like, I want to rock.
And that's exactly what happened. Then I started listening to music more and buying more music. No, it's starting to get to this point. This is where I really wasn't watching movies. I was listening to more and more music. I had my paper route, and I went all my money that I get from there. I basically would buy a couple cassette tapes a week, and movies were off the radar for the most part. Going into the early 90s, I wasn't. And then, after having, my oldest at 19, so I didn't have time to watch movies really then either. And then you and me, we would go out on dates and see random movies here and there.
We've seen some fucking questionable movies in the theater.
Handies.
You know the trick with the popcorn bucket where you cut the hole in the bottom?
Yeah. Pee-wee.
Right.
Yeah.
It was that type of thing. Got
But
real
yeah,
weird for a while.
Yeah. But we weren't sitting near each other.
Yeah.
We had our own popcorn buckets
Right,
with our
and just
holes
sit-
in it, and
I just wanted
us
to sit there with my dick in the
ourselves.
popcorn. No one else around.
No, hey, whatever. It was funny though watching What's Eating Gilbert Grape and having popcorn with a hole in the bucket.
Where's Arnie? That's
So
a great,
yes, so
that's a great fucking movie.
I know it is. So yes, I did see RoboCop.
Finally, after 38 years. Well, yeah, 38. Well, yeah, it came out in July of 87, July 17th, 1987. So it's a summer of 87 movie. Which
That I watched in the winter of 2025, 24.
Right. Well, you just saw it yesterday, basically. So 2025. It only took you 38 years, almost 37 and a half years.
For a moment, I was afraid that I didn't have a streaming service that was playing it. I go, oh, what if I can't watch it? This would
Then you got to pay the $2.99 to rent it.
I can't afford that.
Well, you're luck. You were in luck because HBO Max was. You have HBO
where
Max.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
$90 a month I pay for that, but I can't rent it for $2.99.
Well, if you didn't have it,
I'd have been in the weeds.
they made that movie. They made that movie on a budget of $13.5 million, which is chump change nowadays. You couldn't. You know what I didn't do was put the figures into like a inflation calculator. I didn't do any of that, so I don't know. 13 million in 1987 is a bit more, but that's still not a huge budget. I don't think.
I could tell by some of the CGI stop motion BS.
No, not CGI, but stop motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But that's what gives it its charm, and that's what people like about it. And that's where I thought that something like this would be interesting because you're seeing it now, knowing the technology where it's at, and then you see the Ed 209 do the stop motion in the fucking room when he blows away the guy. When he's like, "You have 30 seconds to comply," and he's fucking just shooting the guy. That's all stop motion. And
so when Star Wars did that in 76 and 77 and 78, 10 years later, RoboCop comes out, and it's even worse than what came out in the late 70s.
well,
I'm going, technology didn't progress, it went downhill.
it did, except
That was right off the bat. That was like one thing I go, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
It did, except you're not considering. Well, first of all, Star Wars came out in 77. That's the only one that came out in the 70s. A New Hope came out in 77. The next one came out in 82 and then 83. But you're forgetting the budget And don't forget, or if you didn't know, RoboCop was passed by a lot of people. Like, no one wanted to make this movie. And even the director, Paul Verhoeven, he didn't even want to direct it at first because it's a movie called RoboCop, and they're like, this just sounds fucking dumb.
I'm going to tell you right now, that is a fucking cheesy space fight name.
Right. Yeah, it really is. And the movie itself got passed on for quite a while, and I think they initially came up with the concept of RoboCop when some of the writers were working on the set of Blade Runner, and that was 1982, and I love Blade Runner. Anything cyberpunk, sci-fi, I fucking love it.
Didn't
so
see
Blade
that either.
Well, you know what? You got to expand your horizons there, pal. Take in all the shit. Disappear into a new world. So Blade. So they came up with the idea in '82. It never got made into a movie until 5 years later. So it was passed for quite a while. Little did they know. It ended up. Did it win an Academy Award? Yes, it did, and a number of Saturn Awards. They turned the $13 million budget into $53 million. It was, was it the top movie of '87? No, but I would say it's in the top 20. And there's a lot of great movies in the 80s,
Well, and in 87, since that episode we had mentioned a lot of those movies. Was this a 3 Men and a Baby? No. Was
Have you
this
seen
Predator? No.
Have you seen 3 Men and a Baby?
I have.
Me too. You know who's the star of that movie?
Fucking goat. The goat.
Gutenberg. I just recently saw Gutenberg
Jeff
in the
Goldblum.
news. Did you see him in the news?
Yeah, and the news guy didn't know who the fuck he was. Because LA's on fire.
But you know what? And who did he say? What did he say? He's like, "Hey, I'm fucking Steve Gutenberg, dude. I'm fucking Mahoney." Now, he didn't even do that. He's so humble. Like the guy did. Like all Steve Gutenberg cared about was helping people in the fire. His neighbors. He's really putting other people first. That's the kind of man the Goot is, And the news guy, he had no idea. But Steve Gutenberg, he didn't tell him. He didn't hey, do you know who I am, pal? No, he didn't. He wasn't about that.
Now, if that news guy was on here, he'd be forced to watch all the police academies and Short Circuit.
Or at least one of them to be like, hey, you know what? Or and 3 Men and a Baby. You know who was just on your fucking camera, who you were interviewing? Steve Gutenberg.
I bet you when he goes to family gatherings, his parents are going to, or somebody's going to fucking slap his face.
The news guy.
Steve's. Why were you talking to that asshole that doesn't even know you? Why weren't you saving people?
If Steve Gutenberg were here right now, I'd shake his hand. Thanks. Thanks, Steve Gutenberg, for everything. I mean, 40 years and you're still doing things for the public. I wish... Listen, let's get serious on the Flannel Tribe podcast for a second. I wish I can be half the man that Steve Gutenberg is. So, to you, Steve. Anyhow, two things that haven't been mentioned probably as often as we have mentioned things are Steve Gutenberg and Tiger Tails, the band. They rip, dude. I've been listening to their shit. They're good.
You don't want to get into the RoboCop movie either.
Well, this is a discussion. This is a podcast, but more importantly, it's a discussion. It's just two friends talking about shit that they enjoy. I happen to enjoy Steve Gutenberg and now Tiger Tails. And if you needed another reason to like Steve Gutenberg, scroll something and you'll see the video, and he's, a hero. A hero. We mentioned Steve Gutenberg, and what happens? He shows up in the fucking news.
MIA for 28 years.
Not MIA. He's a fucking. He's a cop. Last time I saw him, he was a cop.
And then he had a baby with two other guys.
Well, yeah. One of those guys happens to be Tom Selleck.
Tommy.
And Sam Malone from Cheers.
Yes. A bartender, a private eye, and a cop
A
have a
private eye.
baby. Tom Selleck, Magnum PI, no?
Oh. Yeah, I thought you were saying, no, I thought you were saying Ted Danson was Sam Malone. Well, same person. I thought you were saying
They
he
look
was
similar.
was the private eye. No, you're just saying the three individuals.
Yeah, the three
But
men.
this ain't about 3 men and a baby. This is about RoboCop.
This is about Red Foreman being a bad guy.
Oh, and did he nail that fucking role, dude? No.
Nope.
Oh, you're an ass.
No. It's Red Foreman.
It is Red Foreman, but you see him as Red Foreman.
Right.
I saw him way before that 70s show. He's a nasty motherfucker, dude.
He didn't even change. The only thing that changed was his hair color. It's the exact same hairline. Oh, and he had these fucking horrible, stupid wire glasses on. I think the glasses made him worse of a bad guy.
I think he did a fucking fantastic job. He's not someone. I mean, he shot him. He shot the fucking guy.
And the guy's getting shot. I have another thing with that.
Which guy? Peter Weller, RoboCop.
All right, so let's get in the beginning.
Listen, this guy's got notes. All right, let's see.
So, very cute Lisa Gibbons. Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah, that's actually her. Yeah.
Yep. So, when it goes to her, she's a news anchor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my thing is, you're already on Entertainment Tonight. She was already on there.
Yep. Yeah.
She's acting as a news anchor. I have never, ever in my life, anytime I've ever watched any sort of news, seen the news anchor give the news with her arms folded. And she's sitting there with her arms folded in the very first opening scene. When it goes to her, I'm like,
oh my God.
What is
bro.
this? No, but it was just, I thought it was really weird. Just that. Like,
all right, first of all, the amount of times I've seen that movie, I've never noticed that or even took note. So it's interesting that you did.
yeah. And it was just, I was kind of trying to look at the entire screen and see what was going on. And I know I didn't catch everything, that's for sure. But that, I'm like, oh my God, you already are, in a sense, somewhat of a news anchor. And you're giving she was sitting there with her arms folded as if she was almost mad, smiling and giving the report. And I thought that was so weird for her to be doing.
Really? I don't need, now I got to rewatch it because I never noticed that.
Yeah, and it was only in that first one because they go back to the news later.
So she's like this?
Yeah, she's just sitting there, arms folded, and she's like, and today, and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And I'm going, who does that? She wasn't directed to, hey, sit like this. So then I'm going, all right, well, if it's that, like, what's going on in the acting part of it? Well, so that already gave me questions about the
movie.
Acting.
Does have a bit of satire in it. It's not, obviously, it's called RoboCop. It's not, you're not going to sit down and see like a deep drama.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know what I mean? So it does have a bit of, like this is far-fetched, obviously.
Right.
But I certainly wouldn't take issue with that.
No, but it was just stuff that, I see. I'm going, okay, is there really a lot of direction going on? Is this going to be any sort of like, not serious? Is the movie itself and script going to be taken seriously by the actors? Or is it going to be really a B movie?
I think initially it wasn't. The director himself, Paul Verhoeven, he passed on that, on directing it twice. Yeah, twice.
Right.
Because he just didn't understand the movie. He thought it was corny or whatever.
And I think for him to not understand is ridiculous because the story, that what I got out of it, there was two scenes that I already knew what was going to happen. Very like cliche in this, somewhat this genre of movie.
Hold on, let me stop you there because the word cliche, it has to start somewhere. So you're going back to the cliche's origin. Do you know what I mean? You knew it was going to happen because you've had 40 years of seeing people do this.
Even those movies then, there's always the abandoned factory, steel mill, refinery, where the bad guys hang out. It's like, it's all the time. It's always that.
Yeah, but where do you want them to hang out?
They don't hang out in fucking old buildings like that. Like, it just like so many movies. I was actually surprised, and maybe I missed it, that there wasn't a 50-gallon drum burning a fire. Maybe there actually was. I can't remember.
First of all, it's 55 gallon.
55. Oh, man, I am sorry on my measurements, bro.
And that is done so that you can keep warm when you're not residing in a home.
Yeah.
I think they use the term between homes. So when you're between homes, what you want to do is throw shit into a 55-gallon drum because they're everywhere. And then
I've been trying to get my hands on one, and I can't. Apparently, I'm not near a steel mill.
You can put chicken wire over it and have a makeshift grill. You can do one of these things, and your hands become warm. So I think
when you rub your palms together, and then you flatten them out and level them over the flame. For the people that couldn't see what you just did.
Oh, yeah. We need the fucking sign
For the
language.
people that don't know how to warm their hands over fire, this is what you do. You rub them together.
Right. Okay.
And then you do that for a few seconds, right? And then right after that, step 2 is you put them out, palms facing down over the flame. And then
because
your hands...
if you put your palms up, it looks like you're trying to summon a demon or something.
Right. And you don't want to pull that out of the flames.
Right.
So you gather some heat.
Keep your palms down.
Yes, you gather heat, and then you put your hands back together and you rub them maybe like one more time, just because you're not fucking positive if you are getting warm, and you rub them again, and then you do it again, and then you happen to trip over a root or a piece of metal and fall right into the fire in like the drum. Oh, and that's also, there's always toxic waste chemicals. There's always, and sure enough, I seen that too.
Dude, why wouldn't there be?
And it's weird. I don't understand what went on in the mid 80s, early 80s to the later 80s.
I'll tell you
there was a lot of toxic chemicals and waste just like left. And it's like, where's OSHA for this stuff? Like it was just always just left around.
I'll tell you what went on. Fun went on. And which is what's missing from today. People fall into vats of toxic waste. They become the Toxic Avenger. They become the Joker. They become whatever the ER guy's face melted into. Do you know what I mean?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
The dip with the little shoe.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. Oh man, that's traumatizing.
Yeah.
I saw that shit in the theater. I think I left
always that.
The shoe?
Yeah, it's always a shoe crying.
Just saying.
All right, so
that's the first thing you notice. The arms folded.
Yeah.
Already you're poo-poo in the movie and you're 10 minutes in.
Yeah. All right. And Red Foreman. That one too. Can you fly, Poppy?
Doesn't he say Bobby? I think he says Bobby.
Oh, all right. I couldn't tell, and I was not rewinding it to waste more time. Can you fly, Bobby?
He throws him out of the fucking van.
Oh, yes. The next set of notes that I have is...
Clarence Boddicker would have kicked both of our asses, so I wouldn't have fucked with him. Red Foreman or not.
See my foot in your ass. He does say something about his ass, but it wasn't a foot in it. It was something else.
I think you were just hoping he did.
I don't know if... No, but I thought maybe I wrote it, but I don't really see that I did. Ed 209.
Do you like the Ed 209? Because I do.
Hang on. See my podcast, Mike? Now
Yeah.
Put legs and arms on that. That was Ed 209. It looked like a microphone.
Ed 209 is stop motion, and I think it's
very, very stop
I think
motion.
it's beautifully tackled. The only thing I didn't understand about the Ed 209 is when he fell down the stairs, why he made the sound.
I also don't know why Ed 209 growled like a lion.
Yeah, I don't get
So-
that. No, I don't get that either.
No, that was
But-
really weird. The only thing I could think is maybe they pulled the lion roar because it's actually MGM owned. So maybe it's from that lion, though Orion released it. Maybe that's what it is, something like that. But
It could be. I don't know whose idea
Yeah.
that was.
I'm like, and I'm like, what? Why did that just growl and roar like a lion?
Right. That is one of the things where you say, like, what is that about? And also, it can't do stairs. Period.
No,
So
well-
if you're a criminal and the Ed 209 was supposed to be, the super cop of the future before RoboCop is introduced. If you're a criminal, all you got to do is go up or down some stairs.
Yeah,
Because
and then
it-
it fell on its back and had a tantrum.
Right.
Yeah. So it had the same feet. Oh my god! And I always say they're like Earth walkers in Star Wars in the winter one. They're Return of the Jedi, or is it A New Hope? I forgot which one. They have those big looking.
The giant thing, the AT-AT,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
those things
Same
are
feet.
massive.
yeah. Similar feet though.
Yeah,
If
but
you
Ed
look-
209 is, I don't know, 10,
Right,
maybe
right.
8
Like-
feet tall.
Yeah, but they had the similar feet, which I noticed. Yeah, it had the few toes and stuff, and he kept going, trying the step, because the step's not big enough for his fucking Star Wars feet. Yeah,
So that's why he fell down the stairs.
Yeah, and he cried and roared again or barked or something. But when that thing came out in the conference room.
Did you watch this movie with a pad in your lap?
Yes,
Or did you,
yes.
or did
it's
you
sitting
like
right here.
write notes after the fact?
No, I wrote them as I watched it. Yeah,
Okay.
but this thing in this conference room of fucking like 20 some odd people,
Right.
this thing blows this guy apart.
It malfunctions.
The response from 20 people seeing somebody get brutally murdered in there,
Right.
they're just like, oh. Like,
Well,
if you watch somebody get shredded to fucking shit, you'd be out of the room. And I'm going, they're just going, oh. After moments of just people like, oh. One guy goes, call the paramedic. He's been gone for like 4 minutes now. And I thought that was kind of like, almost like the bad acting thing. And I'm going, oh my God, really? And and that's early in the movie. So,
well, don't forget, it's not a fucking. See, the thing about it is this is what I thought it would be interesting. You are watching it with 2024 eyes.
5.
Don't forget, it was 1987.
Yeah.
People were a little less.
Shocked that somebody got murdered in front of them by a robot and it
Right,
wasn't going
because
to
it
turn
didn't-
on them.
It didn't happen every day. Now it happens every day. It's commonplace. So people react.
So especially then, it didn't happen all the time, and people were just like, "Ooh."
Well, people know how to react. They see somebody open fires any given day, and they haul ass. Back then, they're like, "Ah, fuck, this guy." Maybe they didn't like that guy. They're like, "Fuck that guy anyway."
This dude gets shot not as many times as pre-RoboCop guy, whatever his name was again, Majestic. What was his name?
Are you talking about Alex Murphy?
Murphy. I knew it was an M.
God damn it!
Murphy gets his hand blown off, his
Right.
arm blown off, fucking like all sorts of shit.
It's brutal.
This dude still lives. The guy in the office got shot like 4 times, dead, done, nope, gone. And I was
Did you
like,
see the caliber of the gun that Ed 209 is shooting?
yes, it actually blew out 4 holes in that guy's back in a perfect square.
Well, it's a, he's right there. He went out the window, did he not? go out the window?
No, he landed on the table that had the future city model.
Okay.
But the other one, I mean, he was being shot for fucking 10 minutes. And they just kept going and going. And then I'm going, oh my God, this guy is still alive. But the other guy had no chance, and he got shot for like a second.
If Peter Weller died, then they would have rolled credits because he's RoboCop.
So he gets brought to the hospital. And they're doing all sorts of stuff. They fucking pull out the paddles. They hit him 3 times. I think. Now, I thought I had heard this at one point that in movies they overdo it. They zap you like 20 fucking times. I keep hitting this mic. They zap you like a bunch of times. I think, and if there's any paramedics or whatever, or anybody in that hospital emergency field, they do it 2 times and that's it.
So what you're doing is you put on RoboCop and checked it for realism first. Like we got to see like this doesn't add up.
No.
RoboCop, I don't know.
No, it doesn't. So yeah, so they zap him 3 times. But that's just a point I'm making. But
All right.
So what happens is they're doing all this stuff for him. Never mind the guy that fell on the fucking city model table. No, we're not bothering. There's no saving him. This guy is like so wiped out.
Because Ed 209 is supposed to be a future cop. They're going, this guy, Alex Murphy, was an actual cop. He shot an executive. Who gives a fuck about that guy? They had the Alex Murphy. He's a cop. Now they're going to try to say like, fuck the Ed 209 thing. I got what the real deal is, and you're going to see it.
Well, right. And I mean, obviously I know what they did there, but it was just watching it as a movie and to where it was like, okay, this, that, and the other thing. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to give up. Yeah. There's nothing else we could do. It's like, wow. Yeah. They just gave up on this guy that apparently was alive. And yeah, we're done. Like, throw him somewhere. So then, they redo him. They argue about arm or no arm. After all that shooting they did to him, he's still alive. That dude lost 92 gallons of blood. Dude's still alive. Blown apart, and they get to the hospital. They're like, dude, that's all we could do. All right, so I was like looking a little bit forward into my notes of in the movie. Oh God. Anyway,
taking notes.
It's just like because I just have a hard time retaining some like new information. I think, but I just like a story. Like I said, I think a lot of the story was your typical kind of cliche. Of course, he's gonna, then the memories come back, and now you're gonna avenge your killers, and you're gonna get them all. But I honestly thought that first off, there was no reason for that movie to be 103 minutes long. There was
that's not that
like 3 endings that appeared on screen, and it's like I remember at one point I paused. I go, "Holy shit! How the fuck is there 15 more minutes yet?" It seemed like, here's where it ends. And like, okay, maybe part 2. And it's like, nope. And it goes back into the movie. And then it's like, all right, now we're getting to the end. It's like, nope. Oh, their cars. I loved it. The 6000 sucks.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, Ford must have put money into it because every vehicle in the movie was Ford. Ford Tauruses that they had.
But it was like the future,
and it was like,
dude, that is what
electric
I love.
and duct tape.
Oh my God, I love that shit so much. Like, that's so fucking cool. Because
there's always a Doc Brown van, and
they want it to be the future. They want to make it the future, but obviously they don't have CG. It doesn't exist in that capacity, and So they can only use 1987 stuff and make it futuristic.
And if they had a fucking DeLorean, it'd be different.
Well, they didn't.
Right.
And they didn't have that budget either.
Yeah.
So it was like, you got to take a fucking, a Ford Escort.
Ford Taurus. They were all Ford Tauruses. All the police cars are Ford Tauruses. I don't know off the top of my head what the actual 6000 SUX or SUX was. Man, it was so horrible looking, but there was a lot of Ford vehicles in this movie. That's why when something like that, I'm like, all right, did Ford kind of, front some money for a write-off or something? Possibly.
Oh, that's a Thunderbird.
Yeah, Ford Thunderbird.
I could just tell by the front of it.
Yeah. Actually, now that you say that, the same thing that Ace Frehley took off with when we went to see him at Toad's place. His was brown though.
The 6000 SUX or the 6000 SUX is a dig at the Pontiac 6000, which I guess was a vehicle at the time. It's a fucking yeah. That's a cool car, Dan. Look at that shit.
It's a great fucking car.
That's a great fucking car. I have the advertisement right here with the dinosaur. Oh man, dude, that's awesome. Oh, what I wouldn't give to drive one of those today.
You wouldn't even have to drive it. You just walk to the end of the car and you'd be there.
Look at it with the 6000 on the fucking grill.
Oh my god, yeah, that was. I'm like, they put that on with like reflective tape.
Dude, that's badass.
Oh,
I
can't. I'm glad it's out of my system. And then Dick Jones. Could we have more of a generic name?
Oh my god.
I work for Dick Jones. Dick Jones.
There's a scene in there when he goes and he kills Bob Morton with the grenade. You know what I mean? He leaves the grenade on the table.
Yeah.
And he walks in and Bob Morton is in there. He's got the two hookers or whatever they are. There's a big pile of blow on the table. Yeah. They're doing all that cocaine. Red Foreman Clarence Boddicker walks in and he's like,
Bitches leave.
And I remember that shit clear, like from being a kid when he did that. But then I remember seeing it on TV. Do you remember? And back in the day, they would like not
dub it,
they would
words,
overdub it. Yeah, not like blurt it out or silence it or whatever. So when he walked in, what he said was, "Ladies leave." Which I thought was hilarious. It's like ladies leave, but he actually says bitches leave. Keep in mind, RoboCop is an Academy Award-winning movie.
They were just handing them out that year. So let's see. Oh well, I said there's a few different types of endings, and it just kept going. It's really weird because this dude's mouth was exposed. And everybody in the movie's a bad shot. You could have just blasted his jaw and this fucker would have been having problems. His wife said, well, fuck him, he's dead. She went out to go bang somebody, moved out, left the house open.
Did you see the real estate tour of the house?
Yeah, had a couple of things. And then he gets mad and he's like, nope. Bam! And he punches one of those fucking real estate screens. That's it. I am fucking mad. He's getting his revenge. He goes after them all, spinning his gun. He's like at the gas station, lights the gas station on fire. And
the redhead guy, he's from ER. Remember the show ER?
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing in the movie. His helmet head is off. He's with what's her face?
The chick.
Ann Lewis. Yeah. He's with her. That's her actor name. They're in the steel mill. So Red Foreman gets the locator thing to see where RoboCop is. He doesn't bother to go straight to him. No, he goes to one side of the city to meet up with his friends after they get the 6000 SUX cars. And the ER guy is sitting in his big, huge bread truck watching. I'll buy that for $1.
And laughing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while all the looting is going on.
Right. How about that big ass gun they had? That was badass, right?
Yeah, so they have a few of those. Red Foreman goes all the way there on the other side of the city to meet up with his friends and stuff and gather them. He doesn't go right there, goes after him. No, he goes to get his friends. They shoot up the street a bit. It's night. And then he pulls out the locator and goes, he's at the steel mill. So they head to the steel mill.
Why did he go there?
Well,
That's where they fucking killed Alex Murphy. That's the last known place he was a human.
But I'm saying Red Foreman now tells his buddies he's at the steel mill.
Yeah.
It's like you knew through your locator he was there for a long time. But now that you got your buddies, you shot up the other side of Detroit or wherever we are.
They're in Detroit.
Chicago-ish.
It was Detroit, but
Yeah.
it was actually filmed in Texas. But it was supposed to be Detroit.
Yeah. So they get in their electronic schnooks cars and they head over with the bread truck. When they get to the steel mill on the other side of town, it's daytime. It took a long time to get there. I saw that. I go, oh my God, it's daylight now. They left, it was fucking midnight shooting up one side of the town. Now it's daylight.
Yeah, there's a bit of traffic, maybe.
They do their thing there. They do the whole shootout at the OK Corral. Murphy has to go, and he has to go into that conference room because why not?
Now he has his faceplate off to show his face as Alex Murphy and not as RoboCop. Holding on to the shred of humanity he has left. Okay, so they're in the conference room, and he can't do it because of the fourth prime directive.
Until the dude gets fired. And he gets fired now. You can do what you want.
Because you're no longer a cop. You're fired. And he puts the evidence in, and he's like,
I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake. Now it's time to erase that mistake.
Here's all the proof he needed. You're fired. Bam. Boom.
And we
What's
go
the finishing
after...
line? I don't even remember what RoboCop says, but he must have said something. I don't even remember. Ah, shit. I should have watched it.
No, hang on. He goes after Dick Jones. And the amount of candy glass that was made for that fucking movie. And you could see all the windows people are going to go out of.
Well, yeah. You don't want to throw them through actual glass.
So Dick Jones gets blasted out, or no, thrown out, right? Punched out. That's what I think it was. He got punched out. I'm like, oh my God, really? This dude suffered nothing. He gets punched out the window. As this guy, you see the scene as he's falling to the ground, his arms are really long compared to his body. I'm like, what the hell happened there?
Well, they were probably using a fisheye lens or something.
No, everything was fine, but his arms just didn't match his body. His arms were like really long, and I thought that was kind of funny. So it would have been a little bit more satisfying to actually see this dude suffer, and you don't see it. He gets punched. He's alive going down.
Well, you assume he splats on the concrete.
After everything they show, this is the guy you want to see get tied between two pickup trucks and separated.
So that, yeah, I know.
And they don't do his death justice by any means.
All right.
So
I can
he
agree
starts
with that.
to walk away and somebody goes, "What's your name?" Murphy. And I'm like, I knew he was going to turn back and say that. I knew.
Of course, that's what you wanted him to say. Ba, 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 ba. You know what I mean?
And then after that was over, my wife asked how it was. And I was just like, oh. So thanks for tuning in to the Flannel Tribe podcast this week.
Well, what did...
Wait, I did have another thing I had to... When he starts going through and the mayor and all that stuff and the guy that's holding them hostage, like in the city, he was just being a cop and stuff. I don't know. Did he go rogue or something yet? I can't remember. And the guy's yelling out the window, and they're trying to plead with him and all that. And he's like, I want one of those brand new 6,000 SUX with this and that. So he doesn't want to be fucked with, though. And he goes, when people jerk me off, I kill them.
Is that what he says?
Don't jerk me off. Know what happens? When people jerk me off, I kill them or something like that. What the fuck fucking line is that?
Well, you know what? Not a fan of the handies, I guess.
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, so
I feel like if you're not a fan, all right, so what's your final assessment? Let's get your final thoughts.
final thoughts with Thom Boucher of the Flannel Tribe podcast.
Well, you saw it for the first time as a late midlifer or what?
I think you referred to me as an elderly person.
As an elderly man for the very first time. I think you have to put aside the modern, remade for a modern audience bullshit and realize this is from the decade of excess. Everything is bigger, better, badder, more, including the cheese. And you have to either love it or you don't. And I feel like if you come away from this and not have a good time, it's almost like, I don't know, man, you might have a stick up your ass. Like what do you think? What's your final assessment, T-Bone?
I definitely wouldn't be like, hey, dude, you guys got to check this out. Like today, I wouldn't. I do not believe this movie is timeless. I think it's timeless if you watched it. It's part of your youth. So you've seen it then. It's going to be, in a sense, timeless for you. I don't think it holds up to timeless like, say, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, I consider to be in a league of its own. It's
right, and that's the thing. So it's like, all right, I did watch that then. I will watch that right now. Fuck this show. I'll watch it right now. I'm done.
Show's over. Going to watch Back to the Future.
Bye. No, I would, but I didn't watch this in my youth. So most people did. I am guessing that a lot of people that, if anybody's rewatching it, the original, I'm not really thinking a lot of that audience. First off, I'm not thinking they're going to go, oh yeah, no, dude, this movie is great. I don't think people today watching it for the first time are going to think that. I honestly don't.
It might have to be one of those things where you watched it, as a kid. It's very quotable. I mean, anyone who's seen it is going to know, I'd buy that for $1. They're going to know, you're a move creep.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I work for Dick Jones. And they quote it. It's very quoted.
Yeah.
But the thing about a lot of the movies that came out in that era are they're good because they do have some flaws, and it's nice to see what was done without the assistance of computer generated images. Like Ed 209, you can clearly see it's stop motion, but that's what makes it cool. You know what I mean?
And I think that's what makes it cool now, because I think when you saw it then, I don't think you had an idea of that. Like, that's kind of how I feel. Like, you didn't really realize that. You didn't really realize the jerking motion of it. You, at that age in 87, saw this thing come out like, yo, this is fucking crazy. Watching it now, after the the advance in technology and filmmaking and stuff, yeah, you look back at that like, whoa. But you're gonna think it's cool because it is that old school thing, just like Rankin and Bass Christmas thing, stop motion. All right, 60s.
I
if they redid that today, which I think
Animagic.
Yes. If they redid that today, that would be horrible because that is part of it. That's how that is. And
Well, that's why 90% of remakes are just complete crap.
right.
And you could tell that they're being remade just so they can try to get some money off of what was created by the original name of the movie.
There's no more originality. Everything has been done.
The new like the Crow, which came out when we were in high school. It was a huge, and we should do that movie at some point. People loved that fucking movie.
I have to fucking watch that one too.
You never seen The Crow, dude?
I think I started to, and I was just like,
man.
nah.
Each one of these is a life you helped destroy. But they remade that movie with.
Wait, why don't we do La Bamba?
Well, I guess I got to watch that fucking movie.
Yeah, there you go. Get the tissues out and the popcorn bucket with the hole in it.
What are the tissues actually for?
Zzz.
But and then they remade, and Skarsgård, they cast him as the Crow. It's just like, what are we fucking doing? The movie's already made. And if you want to present it to a newer audience, my suggestion
Re-release it.
Exactly.
Put it
back in the theater.
That's it.
You can get the money from it if you want the money from it. More people will go see a re-release of The Crow with Brandon Lee and maybe add in some deleted scenes or whatever. More people will go see that than saw the fucking Crow with Skarsgård. Who the fuck wants to see that shit? You know what I mean?
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. So
right. I'm talking about they remade The Crow. And
well, yes, I know that. But I'm not going to say Skarsgård. What is that?
That's the actor who played the Crow. He also Bill Skarsgård. He played the new Pennywise when they remade it, and he's playing Nosferatu when they remade that.
Ah, this new group of people. What was that? The beginning of Dr. Feelgood?
We almost made it through a full episode.
I was waiting to do that, but actually, I just heard a cop siren.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, real quick.
It's the wild side over here.
Man.
Put it in the movie. Re-release it in the movie.
Theaters, movie theaters.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
There it is.
Dr. Bon Jovi.
It was an ambulance. Like I said, there's always a fucking emergency.
An ambulance. There's always a non-emergency.
He's sitting at the.
There's almost people not dying.
He's sitting at the stop sign. Woo, 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 woo. He got out. He got out to check his tires.
He's having a cigarette.
The fucking siren. The siren is still going.
Yeah. Scrolling his phone with the cigarette all in the same hand.
Right.
And a coffee in the other.
Woo, 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 woo. He's sitting outside my window. He's like, what do you think of this? Fucking hammering on the horn.
Dead or alive, you're an asshole.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me. Well, the point is,
we had to hurry up and get this episode out of the way for Jay. Yes, it's over. I'm done. I saw the fucking thing.
There's more to come. Watch movies. You know what? Gather the kids. Get your family together. I don't see how hard
Watch
it is.
The Shining.
Exactly. Set aside an hour and a half to 2 hours. Pop some popcorn. Put on a fucking movie. And sit down and watch it. Relax. Put your phone away for a second. You know what I mean? Watch a movie.
I hope you're talking to the audience and not me.
I'm talking to whoever. If you're glued to your, watch RoboCop with your family. Your kids will love it. They'll fucking do the gun spinning on their finger and shit, and they'll love it. They'll see it and they'll be like, "Oh my god, this is fucking fantastic." They'll tell their friends at school.
I watched this movie with 80s tits and ass in it in the beginning.
It's got tits. It's got ass. Let me tell you something. As a kid growing up in the 80s, which was the best time to be a kid, we didn't shy away from movies with tits and ass.
It was weird sitting there with your parents in the room.
There was a brief bit of awkwardness for 30 seconds, but it was a given. There's going to be some tits. There's probably going to be some full bush. I mean,
it's just like no eye contact,
just
no
watch the
facial
TV.
expression, just stare like you didn't even see it happen.
And
Just
get to the
do
next
nothing.
scene.
Yeah, like hurry up. And then the sweating stops. And you're like, wow, I can't wait to think of that later.
I can't wait to grab that VHS later. Go watch RoboCop. It's on HBO Max right now. Go watch it. It's a thumbs up from me. I love it. Nobody can't do that. That's Siskel and Ebert. It's a
It's a 2 in the pink for you.
It's a 2 in the pink. It's a 1 in the stink for
One
Thom.
in the stink for me. I don't know if we're gonna leave that in here.
It's a 2 clam movie for me. I would totally clam. Wait, I don't remember which one the positive. Which one is the good one?
Slam it.
All right. Well, then it's a slam for me because I like it.
Any of you listening audience members want to possibly suggest another movie that we should check out or review, let us know. Don't send an email because I keep forgetting to check those. There's like bills in there that have to get paid and I forgot. The
Shutting us
date
down.
Yeah, the date Thom application is yet to be filled out. Win a date with me. That didn't happen yet.
That file has gotten a lot of dust on it.
I don't even know what we're doing this for.
We had all of 0 entries for Win a Date with Thom. So that's why he's sitting on his couch watching RoboCop
with popcorn on my crotch.
pop crotch. with a popcorn bucket with a hole in the bottom.
No popcorn in it. Just butter lube.
Just sitting there. You want some popcorn? That's why you can't get a date. Sure, there's no popcorn in there. Yes, there is.
Wife walks by. Are you done yet? I'm like, with what? The popcorn or the movie?
Watch RoboCop. It's fun. Peter Weller, we're getting him on. Get him on.
He's
He's still alive.
Pete.
Actually, I heard he was pretty difficult to work with. There's a TV show.
Because he's half fucking robot and he fucking glitches every
Well,
now
I
and then.
think that
That's probably
costume
the
there was
problem.
pretty fucking cumbersome. I heard they had a hard time.
Oh, and that too. The typical robot walk. I'm going, oh my God. Really? That was fucking dumb.
My name's Thom.
Walk like a robot. Like, really?
He's got hydraulics for fucking joints.
Yeah, but he didn't. And then he had a big bulbous robot ass. Go look at it again. Yeah, it's like, wow, that's a big ass.
I didn't actually. You know what?
Yeah, because I was kind of
Well,
checking
if you
the
think
whole
about it,
thing out.
his actual ass is in there, and then he's probably wearing pants. I'm assuming. So there's.
Yeah,
maybe
it was
there's a-
just like big.
Can
Like
you
Eddie
imagine-
from Iron Maidens isn't that big.
There's like, he's got that costume on. What if he's got to take a leak? You know what I mean? How do you get that off? He probably has a hose up his ass or something.
Your move, creep.
Right. What are you supposed to do? What? Hey, I'm RoboCop.
Stand in the bathroom and just stop peeing
It's not
and
like
leave because Dick Jones is in the shitter behind you.
right. It's not like you're. How about when Dick Jones and Bob Morton are in the bathroom and he fucking pulls his hair?
Dude, I thought he was gonna make out with him.
Why the hell would he have done that?
I don't know, because he started to almost tousle his hair. He rolled his fingers through his hair, and then he grabbed him by the back of the head, almost like, dude, suck my dick.
Like he was going to bend him over the sink.
Right. So I was like, wow.
So you got RoboCop's ass.
Robocock.
Yeah. And then the Dick Jones, Bob Morton
See?
bathroom rendezvous.
Man.
Are you sure you watched the right movie?
RoboCop.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm coming in you.
Dead or alive, I'm coming in you.
See? Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, that's the first movie review episode. That maybe it'll be. It's
First-
not really a review.
First annual.
It's not a review. It's kind of like an impression. I guess it's only.
It's kind of a
fair.
waste of an episode. I'm paying for this shit.
I don't think it is. I was quite entertained. We can do it. You can suggest a movie for me, then something that I haven't seen. La Bamba is one of those, like La Bamba.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to like it, man. It's fucking, come on. It's Richie Valens.
It's not Richie Valens. It's fucking.
Yeah.
Who's in that movie?
That's what it is. Lou Diamond Phillip.
Yeah, Lou Diamond Phillips. That's his name.
Right. He plays Richie Valens.
Yeah.
Good movie. That movie, Richie Valens' mother went to the set. And she cried at the set because he was like, she could have swore that was her son. It was a really good movie.
Speaking of Lou Diamond Phillips, have you seen Young Guns?
I did when it came out, and then I ended up putting it on again.
That was cool.
A handful of years ago, I started to watch it again, but like it just not enough information from that movie stuck in my head.
It's,
when I rewatch it, it'd be like, oh yeah, that's right.
It's a Western, so you got to kind of like want to see something like that. But
you see the Outlaw Josie Wales,
like the original. Oh my God, it's the Outlaw Josie Wales.
Mm-hmm.
That's old.
Yeah,
I have seen that.
Robert Redford, right? That was him in that one.
That's not Clint Eastwood.
No, because there's two. There's Outlaw Josie Wales. Which is it?
It's a movie from. It's fucking Clint Eastwood, bro.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's right. So Clint Eastwood is in that one. That's right. And then there's another one with Robert Redford. Oh my God, I'd have to ask my old man.
Oh my God.
There's another one that's very similar.
The Outlaw Josie Wales. Did you know? This is not about RoboCop.
No, I like that movie actually. I own the VHS.
Is also directed by Clint Eastwood.
Yes, that I did know.
He wrote the screenplay.
Yeah, he did a lot of that shit. And that's pretty early on. I don't know where that was with the Dirty Harry stuff, but that was good. You going into those Western, New Frontier type movies.
Like
But
what,
yeah,
Mad Max? You into that?
Yeah, I did see the original one. How about Starman?
That's a good movie. That is a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah, that I liked. I liked Starman. How about My Science Project?
Don't know it.
My Science Project is similar time as Weird Science. If I'm not mistaken.
Obviously, I've seen that.
And then the other movie, which when you were around for New Year's, it was DEFCON 4.
I think I've seen that.
Is it Brian Dennehy? Because I keep confusing. No, then the other movie, which I couldn't believe was actually a Disney movie, was Never Cry Wolf with Richard Dreyfuss. That was another movie.
How about Flight of the Navigator? You seen that?
No reason to.
What do you mean no reason to? It's a movie. It's fucking. I love that movie, Flight of the Navigator. Again, as a kid, loved it. Compliance.
How about the Earthling?
No,
Earthling.
the what?
The Earthling? Right? Is the Earthling? The Earthling.
Because my microphone is a speaker.
Stupid.
How
about Twilight Zone, the movie?
Yeah, I saw that.
Horrible. Scariest fucking thing ever in film.
Was Twilight
the
Zone
very the beginning of it. I almost want to say that's Steve Guttenberg, but I don't think so. He picks up Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
And they talk all Twilight Zone episodes, and he goes, "You want to see something really scary?" And he turns away, and he turns fucking back. Scared the fucking life out of me.
That is why I say horror and things like that is wasted on giving it an R rating or because the only people who are ever going to be scared are kids. And so, as a kid in the 80s, I loved horror, loved it. Horror's wasted unless it's shown to kids. Now you remember that shit forever.
Yeah.
Every kid was afraid of the fucking poltergeist clown. Large Marge scared the shit out of a lot of
Dude,
kids.
that was the next one I wanted to say. Tell them Large Marge sent you.
Tell him Large, and she's like, bah! And
Yeah,
it's,
driving
but
it.
that's like claymation. That's
Yeah,
like,
right.
that's
It happened on a night in road just like this.
right.
Dude, yeah. Those two were just almost. The Twilight Zone one was a little bit more scarier, but the Large Marge one was like next in line. They
And
were
you remember
very
it.
similar shots.
All these years later, you remember it because it fucked you up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the best. That's how it's supposed to be. So, parents, show horror to your children. Fuck them up.
Yeah.
They'll
I mean,
remember.
they're already watching real world crap on their videos and phones.
Seriously, they'll
So,
remember it. They'll remember
Show
it.
them real fake stuff.
They'll remember it 30 years later. They'll be like, "Wow, that fucked me up. I was scared for like a month."
Yeah. All righty. Well,
thanks for tuning
RoboCop
in.
episode comes to a conclusion.
Ba, 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 ba.
In that case, later.
See ya, motherfucker.